Gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Marketing Wizards Inner Circle Friday Morning Mailbag. Hello, 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 hello. I am super excited to be here with you today on Friday, the 22nd of December. Let's take my music out here. There we go. And this is a very special day, my friends. This is our last mailbag of the year. So next week, I'll be taking that week away from doing the mailbag. Lots of work to do, but still no mailbag next week. And I'm going to deliver a huge amount of phenomenal and awesome stuff today, though. So we've got some great questions that got submitted over the course of the week that we found during our own discovery, sort of consultation calls, or as I like to call them, compass calls. And these were questions that popped out of just our interactions throughout the week. So I hope you're going to love what we dive into today. We've got some really hot topics here. And beyond that, though, if you get a ton of value out of today and you like what we're talking about, please share this with a friend or just like and subscribe to the channel. If you're on YouTube, you can click the little subscribe button here to the Marketing Wizards Inner Circle channel. That'd be great. If you're on here live as well, please feel free to submit your questions. So I do these things live so that if you need any more clarification, if we need me to go a little bit deeper on one of the subjects we're covering, then you've got free will to just jump in here and ask a deeper question or give your feedback on something as well or your experiences. So we love to do that. And ultimately, this is about making sure that you get great results. Right. So the whole idea behind the Marketing Wizards Inner Circle mailbag here is that I can't imagine all the questions that you have about marketing. I can't imagine all of them. So I open this up to you to help me flesh out what it is that is best to serve you. And it's been a phenomenal. I think we've been doing this for about, 7 months now. And it's just been awesome. So I really, really love the questions that we get in. And clients say they get a lot of value from watching these. Now, if you're watching it live, put a 1 in the comments section. That would be fantastic. Put a 1. If you're watching the replay, give us a 2, just so I know where and when you're consuming. That would be great. And yeah, as I said, if you have any questions, you guys, as my squeaky chair gets going here, feel free to send those in while we're doing these different topics. And if you didn't have a chance, you should pop over and check out the interview that we did with Catherine Manette. Man, she's good. So it was all about sales and about the confidence required to sell and how to build confidence. She has this confident sales formula that she goes out. So it's really, 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 really good. And it's great to catch up on that one. So we did that one Wednesday afternoon, so you can check it. It'll be in the Marketing Wizards Inner Circle Facebook group. Plus, it'll be on the YouTube channel as a live and that type of thing. So you can check those out there. We have one of our viewers here. Several people watching so far today, but one viewer says they're watching it live. So Facebook user, whoever you are, if you want to put your name in the comment section, that'd be amazing. Love to know who it is that we've got joining us here today on the live. So without further ado, let's pop over to our first question. Okay. So our first question comes from Diane. So Diane and I were talking, it was actually Friday of last week that we had this conversation, or she sent this email in and we were chatting back and forth. And pardon me, she said that you had talked about the importance of nurturing leads. Are there any secrets to doing it? She says, are there any secrets to doing it? Let's see here. So we have, Michelle's got a question for me. Okay, perfect. I will get to that, Michelle, I promise. So you talked about the importance of nurturing leads. Any secrets to it? So there are some secrets to doing it effectively. So I'm going to give you 3 things here that I have been doing in my own businesses that seem to really work for us, that have really helped us generate a lot of traction on the nurturing process. And when I say lead nurturing, here's the thing I want to frame up for you, is that these can be people that have purchased from you, so they're a lead for your next offer or another product or another version of the same thing, or they're people that haven't purchased from you yet at all. So these could be leads that are just coming in. They're relatively what you might call a cold lead, and you've got to warm them up. So there's 3 things to do to nurture those people to making the next sale, right? And those are, first, number 1, habitual contact. Okay, make contacting them a habit. Make it a rhythm. Make it something you do all the time. For those who are part of the Marketing Wizards Inner Circle, you know this, right? I reach out literally every single week. I don't bombard you with daily emails unless we're doing a launch or something like that. But I learned this from Marie Forleo many, many years ago. She said, you know what? You got to reach out rhythmically. You have to get your prospects and your clients on a schedule that they can trust they're going to receive something from you, even if it's just a little piece of communication. It doesn't have to be extensive, just a little piece, right? So for us, that means that you're getting a little piece of communication from us literally every week. So you get my Friday reminder. Quite often there's something that comes earlier on in the week talking about an interview that's coming or anything like that. Or if we have a launch, you're going to get a series of announcements about the launch of our product. So you got to put it into a habitual context. So whether it's weekly, whether it's bi-weekly, whether it's once a month, whatever it is, nurturing requires a steady rhythm of connection because you have to build trust. Okay. So number one is habitually contact your list. Put it into a rhythm so it's constant and they can learn to trust it. Okay. Number two, tell lots of stories. Lots and lots and lots of stories in your nurturing. So I'll never forget a few years ago, one of my Just About Pets clients actually teaches marketing, especially the digital marketing side of things at the local university here at UFE. And her name is Kim, and she had some. She let me know, this was a few years ago now, that she uses some emails that I had written as an example of how to really effectively do email marketing. And essentially, email marketing is just nurturing. It's just nurture marketing, right? Just done through email. And so she was like, you told these stories. And so what I'd written was this 12 days of Christmas email sequence that our customers from Just About Pets would get every single day leading up to the 23rd or 24th of Christmas. I can't remember, of December, I should say. Can't remember which one. But the whole point was I would have a product that I was featuring, and then I'd tell a story about the product. And so the whole time we were telling stories in order to nurture those leads along and nurture and guide them along in the process. And so if you want to do really good lead nurturing, you got to show, don't tell. In other words, reveal stories about what's going on, Diane, and it'll be of far more value to the prospect or the client. All right. So use a lot of stories in your nurturing. And number 3 thing I would recommend, multi-channel. Multi-channel nurturing is far more powerful than just one channel nurturing. If you only have one channel, that's fine. Use it. Okay. One is better than none. But multi-channel nurturing is the best way. So what does this mean? This means that you gather phone numbers. So you can not only email, okay, but you can also text message. You have community groups like our Marketing Wizards Inner Circle Facebook group or the YouTube channel where it's another way of nurturing people along. You're basically connecting with people on multiple different channels, and then they get to interact with you wherever they're comfortable, wherever they feel best, wherever they spend their most time. So when you're thinking about your strategy to nurture clients from either being a prospect to being a sale, or from someone who's sold to selling them the next offer, then make sure you're approaching it from multi-channels. And people will basically say, no, I don't want to receive your emails, but I'm okay with your text messages. Or I don't want to receive text messages, but I'm okay with emails, right? So they'll go back and forth. They'll tell you how they want to be contacted. So in your nurturing, have multi-channels going. We do this at the store. We do this in my own business here in the marketing company as well. And honestly, our lead nurturing for the store is crazy because we're doing 35 to 40 dogs in our grooming salon all month long for December because we use both email and SMS marketing to continue to promote and keep our calendar full of those appointments. Okay, so I hope that really helps you guys. So the 3 things were habitual contact to nurture, make it a rhythm for the client so they can trust you. Make sure you tell lots of stories inside your communications so that they don't get bored. You're just not pitching them stuff, right? Or just talking about benefits, right? Or you're just talking about features. You're talking about stories of how things work. And number 3, multi-channel approach to how you want to nurture. Okay, perfect. So let's take a look here at some of our questions. Glenn says, greetings from Saskatchewan. Oh, Glenn, perfect, buddy. Awesome. Thank you for joining us today, Glenn. That's fantastic. And my client here, Michelle, she says, I'm sitting on a ton of stale inventory and trying to pivot my business to wholesalers. How do I market older stock without devaluing it. Oh, well, without diving too deep into the weeds with you here, Michelle, the biggest thing I would do is it's essentially multiple SKU offers. So if you have, or you're giving a discount on the next purchase as well for their newer stuff. People love new, right? We always love new. So if you've got older stock, you can always bolt it onto newer stock and give the older stock as a promotional item or anything like that. The last thing you want to do is sit on product that will never ever sell again. So even if you get it out and get it out there and you give it as a gift for buying your next, your next offer, so that would be of value. So for example, I know Michelle's in the kids clothing business. So Michelle, you could have your summer stuff getting ready to launch, right? So they're ordering in the late winter here, early spring. And you could say, look, plus get all of these things for free or get these all at 90% off, right? And you've got a really great portfolio here of winter stuff or fall stuff ready to go later on this year at a really, really good price point. So that's the one thing that I've done as a wholesaler in some of our product as it gets old is I'll bolt the old stuff onto the new stuff and encourage people to buy that way. So let me know if that helps. Michelle, does that make sense to you? I hope that helps. I hope that helps here. Just taking a look at where we've got. Yeah, okay. So I hope that helps, Michelle. And that's the way I would do it is I would just start bolting the old stock onto new offers and see if you can move it that way. Because pure discounts aren't what people are after, right? They want to have more exclusive offers than that. Yes, Michelle says that makes sense. Perfect. Okay. So our next question here. This is such a good question. Okay, this one comes from a longtime friend and client, Paul. Paul says, I have heard, and they say that free is the best offer you can make. You've probably heard this before. The best words to make a sale is free, right? What do I think? Okay. To me, this is very dependent, you guys, on where the client is in their journey with your company. So for those of you who have known me a long time, you know that I love to use the hourglass as the metaphor for a client's journey. So if they're at the top of the hourglass, AKA they just encountered your company, they're just getting to know you, they haven't been nurtured yet, they haven't gotten to know you very well, and they haven't sold, they haven't bought anything yet. Okay. So for those who don't know, I say I hate funnels, bothers me, but I like the idea of an hourglass because why would you want a client to fall out at the bottom like a funnel? So this is attraction, right? Nurture, or I call enchant, offer, buy, guide, wow, and then oh my gosh, what's the last one? Basically, next proposal, next offer. Okay, so that's the 7 stages of what I call the hourglass marketing system. So if they're at the top of the hourglass, Paul, so they're just getting to know your company, free is good because there's no risk, very little risk to them at all. So free is good. But there is far more powerful than free when it comes to the community after, okay, you've started to build a relationship. And there's a few different things here. So people love, as we were just talking about for Michelle, they love new, right? Or sort of a VIP or early access to something. Way more powerful than free. Look, Apple does this all the time, right? If you want early access to their product, you're going to show up and you're going to pay more, but you're going to get there early. You'll have the phone 30 days before other people do. I don't care, but a lot of people do care about these things, right? It's about status. So once somebody gets to know your company better, gets to know you better, then access to you, access to your exclusive elements and offers means that their status is rising in their community and in your community. And that is far more valuable than free. Far more valuable. Okay. So here are some things that are more powerful than free. Exclusive access, right? So there's either only so many or you only invite in an X number. Like there's only 10 seats available in our mastermind. Once it's full, exclusive access. VIP status, way more powerful than free. Okay. Could be pricing, could be offers, could be early access stuff. Or of course, just that, early access to things. Get our brand new shoes, right? 8 weeks before everybody else. Get these new shoes Be on our private exclusive mailing list to get these new shoes, 8 weeks prior to everybody else, right? Influencers do this all the time. They get early access to things, or they give early access to things. So those are way more powerful motivators, Paul, than free. But what they require is context for the consumer or the purchaser. They require context that getting it early is important. Having exclusive access to you or to your product is important. Or getting it in a way that nobody else can get it except for these other 10 people is important, right? So even for us, we're about to shift one of our own offers. So we've been offering right now this, I'll bring it up right now. So I'll hide Paul's question, right? So those of you know who we've been offering our 2024 social media calendar. It's basically a whole social media toolkit for free. Okay, for free. And we've got great results for that. But I want to improve our results. And so one of the things I'm going to do is actually bolt on one of these ideas of exclusivity, VIP pricing or access and early stuff onto this. And so I'm going to make it exclusive. Our next promotion starting next week is actually going to be about, we're only going to give away like 50 more of these toolkits. We're only going to give away 50 more. So now we've added exclusivity to the free offer, okay? Which is often the best when you're talking about a top of the hourglass, I'm just learning about you and your company kind of promotion to a lead. Okay, so those are things that are absolutely better than free. So if we go back to Paul's question here, so free is great, as I said, if it's a lead magnet, top of the I want to say funnel, but I don't want to say funnel, top of the hourglass. Okay, but after that, early access, VIP pricing, exclusivity, those are all more powerful than free once the client has context for their value. Okay, cool. Great question, Paul. Absolutely love it. All right. Now, inside, we have some people watching here. So if you guys have any questions about Paul's question or you want to go deeper on any of this, please let me know in the comment section. Let's bring up Doug's question here. So Doug does demos. So he demos his service. Do I have any wizard tips for doing demos? Love it. So what I did here was I did some don'ts and some do's when it comes to demos, or a lot of consultants run discovery calls, or coaches run sort of discovery calls or goal setting calls, that type of thing. So if you're doing some sort of free reveal of your product or service, call it a demo, call it a consultation, call it a discovery call, call it whatever you want. Okay. This is basically a free demo of what it is that your product or service does. If you're going to do that, here are some really critical don't do things, and then what their opposites are. So I've got I got 4 of them here that I find over all of my experience both doing demos and receiving lots of them, right? I mean, for the brick and mortar business that I run here, you have to imagine I get 2 or 3 product people in here almost every week wanting to show me something. So I've got a lot of experience on both sides, demoing our services and our products. Okay, because obviously we have a software company, BAMO, or software product, I should say. So we demo that all the time, and I learned some hard lessons doing that. And then, of course, just me on the receiving end, where I'm just going through a lot of these sales. So, don'ts. Here's one thing not to do in a demo, Doug. Don't go through a huge list of your features. Okay? Don't give me this laundry list of features of your product. Don't care. Right? We just recently had, literally last week here. Was it last week? Yeah, it was last week. We had, have I got it? Yeah, there it is. So we had a company pop in here and show me a demo of their product. These guys. Farmina popped in. Okay. Very kind. Salesperson was a good dude and everything else. But he basically just regurgitated this booklet. That's all he did. He just went through the booklet. So I sit there receiving this sales call / demo, right? I'm not, obviously it's dog food, so I'm not going to eat it, right? But I received this and I thought, I could just read your package. I could just read your brochure. Why do you need to be here? So don't go through a huge laundry list of the features of your product. Okay? I don't care. I don't care until I care. All right? Do show me how this product solves a big problem for either my client or for me. Okay? Do show me that. If he popped in and he said, look, here's our great product, etc., etc., we do it this way because it does this for dogs and cats, it does that for dogs and cats. I'll want to know how it does it later, aka the features, but I'm going to want to know what problems it solves. So don't go through a list of features. Do show me how it solves a specific problem and does it really, really well. Okay, that's number one. Number two, don't pitch early. Don't pitch me early. Okay, don't tell me what the price is going to be, how much it's going to cost. Don't do all of those things early because you haven't earned the right for me to buy yet. You haven't earned the right for your prospect to purchase anything, right? Do at the beginning ask a lot of questions. So don't just move into your pitch early. Do ask a lot of questions because you want to identify what the real problems are that the prospect actually has. You know, if the Farmina guy had asked me some questions about my store, what was working really well, what wasn't working really well, then he would have understood that one of our biggest challenges is getting our service clients to also buy their products here. It's been a hurdle I've been battling with, sometimes succeeding, sometimes failing for the better part of over a decade now. Okay. So if he had some suggestions on that, if he'd said, so what's the real challenge? Like, what are you facing? Then he could frame his product. He could put a nice little tight bow on it and say, well, this is how our product can solve that. Or this is how our company can help solve that problem. But he didn't do that. He just went into pitching the features of the product. So at the beginning of any demo or consultation call, your prospect should be doing most of the talking. If you're talking a lot, you're losing ground. You need to be asking questions and then receiving information and from the answers. Make sense? Massive difference in how your demo can roll up because there's going to be lots of things about your product or service that you don't need to go into. I would make this mistake constantly when I was first showing our software program demo, or BAMO. Software demo of our BAMO. Way to go, Mikey. Way to go. Can't speak today. Not enough coffee from my kitty cup. Okay. I would do this all the time in the first pretty much year that I was selling BAMO. And we didn't sell that many. Is I would just start vomiting all the different cool stuff that it could do because I was a nerd about it. I loved it, right? Still do. But I just would nerd out on the product. And so the person on the other side would go, it's really great. I'm happy that you love it, right? But I don't see the value here. I just see a lot of shit going. So big, huge learning lesson here. Don't pitch too early. Ask lots of questions because that allows you to then move into the next thing, which is don't talk about features they don't need. Do simplify your demo to solve X problem, solve the problem that they just talked about. In other words, if you ask the right questions at the beginning, you'll know exactly what parts of your product or service are going to be most helpful to the person sitting across from you. So now you don't need to talk about 90% of everything else. You just talk about how your product or service solves that problem, right? It's great that you know all the other stuff that it does. It's great that you can use this knife to cut through all this other shit. But in the end, you just want the knife to cut through steak. How does it do that effectively? That's all you want to know, right? The fact that it saws through rope and a penny and everything else is great from an ad perspective, and it's good marketing, but it has nothing to do with having a good demo, except a wow factor at the beginning. Okay, make sense? Cool. All right. Number 4. Don't be a stuffy, stick up your butt professor when it comes to your product. Okay? Just because, this is from experience for me, I would, as I said, geek out and nerd out on all the cool stuff that BAMO, our software, does. The problem was that I would dive deep into it. Oh, you could do this and the nuances of that. The person on the other side, if I had spent one iota of time reading their body language, I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm totally fucking this up. Right? Because they're just like, yeah, that's really cool. I don't really know if, and I'm just like, yeah, and then it does this, and then it does this, and it does this, and I'm not a stuffy professor guy. But what I mean by this is that if I'm going so deep, I'm losing them, then the whole point of the demo is lost. And this is the same thing with the discovery calls. You know, when he coaches, I watch the replay of the discovery calls because we do some training with our coaches on this. And it's like, you're nerding out completely in this call about the how brain chemistry works and why you're struggling to achieve your goals and how you're getting distracted by focus and you're connecting that to your sugar intake and everything. And ultimately, the person is lost. All they want is a solution to their problem. You haven't earned the right for them to go deep with you down the Alice in Wonderland rabbit hole yet. They might later, but that'll be their choice. Okay? So don't be a stuffy professor. Do be a great storyteller. You want to tell great stories. Stories about how your product helped somebody overcome that particular problem. Stories about how you knew nothing about this, and then within a short period of time, you absolutely fell in love with this service and the product because of X. Or how this particular thing solved this challenge that you were facing in your life, and now you're excited to share it with other people. Do tell lots of great stories because they will have questions about how it solved it later. They'll go, okay, how did that work? Well, how did that happen? How did you get there? And that allows you to take them, guide them deeper down the rabbit hole because they've asked. Okay, so those are the 4 things that I would do in demos here, Doug. So I would don't go through a list of features. Do show how it solves a problem. Don't pitch early. Do ask lots of questions and do most of the listening at the front half of any demo. Don't talk about features that they don't need. Do show how your product or service solves the exact problem they just told you about because you asked them a bunch of questions. Don't be a stuffy, stick up your ass professor, right, that just wants to go into the science of everything and dive deep. Do tell great, enraptured and capturing and enchanting stories that are going to draw your client in to the narrative of the product, and they're going to put themselves in as the hero figure as you tell the story. Okay, 4 really powerful things to do inside your demo that can make a big difference on how clients are receiving and buying from you. Okay, super cool. Great question, Doug. Absolutely love it. And if anybody from the comments here has any questions about that or wants me to go deeper on demos, and this can be used for demos, discovery calls, consultations, all that kind of stuff, right? So they're just kind of like one-on-one sales tools and tips. Okay, check. Okay, good. All right, let's move on to question number 4. So question number 4, I got earlier in the week from Rachel. And Rachel says, do you have a recommended social media posting tool? My answer is yes, but it's not what you think. So there is a ton of time and effort being put into cross-platform social media posting tools. In fact, Bamo itself, our software, has a feature that allows you to cross-promote to a number of different social media apps. And you're going to find a lot of them out there. And there's new ones coming out all the time. There's ones that you can get on the cheap. So you could spend like $200 one-time purchase. And then you're going to have access to this product. Anything that has a one-time purchase, by the way, that you're going to be using on a constant basis, I would be a touch afraid of because you don't know how much maintenance is going to be happening in this product in 18 months or 2 years from now. Right? They're in a launch phase where they're selling a whole bunch of this thing. Unless they're saying that we're going to move to a month-by-month model later and you can get exclusive access because they need capital now, right? Because here's what happens. You develop a software, right? And your costs go way up to develop software. So you want to recoup this huge investment fast. So you say one-time offer, get it for $250 and you try and sell 10,000 of them, right? As fast as possible to recoup this. But if they don't have a pay-by-month model afterwards, then chances are it's all going to go away because Facebook changes, Instagram changes, WhatsApp changes, YouTube changes, and these companies have to adapt to how those companies, those other platforms are changing to continue to maintain the link between what they're doing and what you're doing, right? So that is just a tip out there. I would be afraid of anything that is one-time purchase. Not to say they aren't good, just slight warning. Okay. But that being said, there's a lot of them out there. A lot of them are awesome. Some of them are really visual. Some of them are super kind of sort of more technical aspect. Some of them allow you to post different descriptions or captions based on what platform. All really cool features. Some of them allow you to go, I want to repeat this post every 6 months because my audience is shifting and adjusting. And if I post it today, in June 2022 or in June of 2024, I should say, the same people might not be looking at it. All great features. Here's the thing. I don't use and I don't recommend using any of them. So, Rachel, do I have a recommended social media posting tool? Yes, whatever social media you are on. Flat out. Okay? The biggest reason is that these social media apps are very sophisticated. They know when you're on them and when you're not on them. They know when you're using their native tools and their back end, or if you're using a third party posting tool. They know these things. And especially Facebook and Instagram, I have found that when I use any third party posting tool, my reach goes way down. So the question you really have to ask yourself, Rachel, is not if I recommend a social media posting tool. It's what is your goal with social media posting? Is it to simplify, streamline your process, and make it easier to do it? Or, okay, so that's one idea. Or is it to get more traction, get more engagement, and crank up the amount of reach? Which is your goal? If your goal is to streamline activity, bring on virtual assistants, or do whatever you're going to do to make it easier and simple, more streamlined and efficient for yourself, if that's your number one priority, then you can use social media posting tools. Third-party posting tools, fine, sound good. If your goal, though, is reach, engagement, views, right, and you want to expand your audience, get more subscribers, then you have to use their backend. That would be what I would tell you, because they're going to promote you being on their platform far more than you being on someone else's platform and just using theirs for traction. Now, if you run a big, huge company and you're doing millions of dollars in revenue, awesome, cool. If you got millions of followers already, maybe you're looking for efficiency. That's awesome. Then use the tools. But if you're growing, then my recommendation is if you want to use LinkedIn, Rachel, then you can post on LinkedIn. If you want to use Facebook, you post on Facebook. You use Meta, right? Business Suite, and you post on Instagram and Facebook that way. If you want to post to YouTube, then you post to YouTube, right? I run these lives and broadcast them with a third-party tool called EV Mux, but I do it because it allows me to go to all of them at the same time, and it allows me to do cool things like the scrolls across the bottom and all that kind of stuff, which a lot of the other tools don't let me do. Okay, so this is a unique situation, but I take it off of here later, right? I'm practicing what I preach. I take this video down later or off of here, I download it, and then we chop it into shorts. We turn it into an actual episode on the channel. Normally, like, I don't know, sometimes like it's almost like 4 to 5 months later because we have so much material. So we do all those things post, and then use YouTube to post it, use Facebook to post it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. So the answer to your question, Rachel, is you have to know what your goal is. If your goal is efficiency and simplification, then you can use a third-party posting tool. It's easier. But if your goal is reach, engagement, viewership, and growing your audience, making more money and monetizing your audience that way, then you have to post natively. It's just the truth, right? And I've tested this over and over and over again with about half a dozen different apps, and my traction's always lower when I don't use the native platform to post on. Okay, that's Rachel's question. So as we wrap things up here, you guys, from our viewership, people, if you got some value out of today, give us just a thumbs up or a little smiley emoji or anything like that in the comment section. That would be great. So if you got some value out of today, we covered 4 phenomenal questions from the mailbag and then 1 in-person question from Michelle about backstock and inventory. And it was just, anyway, I hope you got great value out of it today. That's how I'll put it. I hope you got great value out of it today. I hope you can use what we talked about and really put it to use for yourself. Because the Friday morning mailbag is a ton of fun for me. I'm really looking forward to doing it in the new year. And we're going to wrap it up. Like, keep getting your questions in. Okay, if you want me to answer your question and tell you what the marketing wizard here would do, then ultimately I'll put it up here. So you can email them in. You can email team, TEAM, at thankyoumediagroup.com. You can Facebook Messenger them over to me. You can use YouTube and put them in the comment section. However you want to get the information over to me is fine. There's lots of different channels. Remember, we're talking about lead nurturing. However you're comfortable sending it over to me, I'm here for you. And then other than that, We're going to be doing some great stuff in the new year, you guys. Some really cool stuff coming out. I'm very, very excited about how this is all going to form. And yeah, some cool stuff on the way. I've got some more products to launch and some neat stuff going on. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being a tremendous audience in 2023. It has been an absolute pleasure to be here with you. We've had our best year yet in the Marketing Wizards Inner Circle and in time marketing and consulting. So it's been a lot of fun, and it's been our absolute best year yet. And so much thank you from me to you guys. And if you have any comments or anything like that, please fire them over to me. I'm happy to oblige. And if you're not a member of the Facebook group yet, you can join the Marketing Wizards Inner Circle Facebook group. But look for our new exclusive community coming out likely in late January, early February, where it's going to be a little bit different than just Facebook alone. So we'll have some cool other features to it. All right, you guys, this is going to be a wrap. So thank you so much for being here all year long with me. You have been amazing. I have been Michael Bridgman. This has been another Friday morning mailbag with the Marketing Wizards Inner Circle. And I want you to go out there, make some magic happen, enchant your audience, and do amazing things. So ciao for now. I will see you in the new year. Much love from me to you guys. Have a wonderful, wonderful holiday season. See you next time. Bye-bye.